I still remember the night I woke up unable to breathe. The weight on my face was heavy, the darkness complete. I kicked and thrashed, my tiny 5-year-old lungs burning for air. Just as spots began dancing before my eyes, the weight lifted. Light flooded back. Mom stood in the doorway, her face white with horror. And there was my sister Emma, holding the pillow, her eyes cold and empty. "I was just playing a game," she said with a smile that never reached her eyes. Lily was pretending to be asleep. That was the first time my sister tried to hurt me. It wouldn't be the last. "Lily, are you even listening to me?" Emma's sharp voice snapped me back to the present. I looked up from my phone and sighed. At 18, nearly 19, I was still the family punching bag. Emma, now 24 and recently engaged, had somehow gotten even worse. "Sorry," I mumbled. "What were you saying?" Emma rolled her eyes and pointed to the bridesmaid dress catalog. "I said you need to pay for this pink dress. It's only $300. Only $300. Easy for her to say. Emma made $100,000 a year as an accountant. Her fiancé, Nick, earned even more as a tech specialist. Meanwhile, I was heading to college in the fall with barely enough savings to cover my books. And the shoes. And hair. And makeup," she continued, tapping her perfectly manicured nail against the table. "Plus the bachelorette party. It's at the Fairmont in Toronto. $800 for just the hotel." My stomach twisted into knots. "Emma, I can't afford all that. I'm saving for college." "Not my problem," she snapped. "It's your duty as my sister." Mom appeared in the doorway, carrying a tray of lemonade. She always showed up when Emma and I fought. Always the peacemaker. Always taking Emma's side. "Lily, sweetie," Mom said gently, "this is your sister's special day. Can't you find a way?" I looked between them, Mom with her pleading eyes and Emma with her smug smile. My brother Jake was away in the military. My other brother Matt, too. My baby sister Katie was only 4. Dad was at work. There was no one to back me up. "I'd have to take out more student loans," I said quietly. "The interest rate is 26%. Emma shrugged. "Like I said, not my problem." Mom placed a hand on Emma's shoulder. "Emma, dear, maybe, Mom." Emma's voice turned instantly to tears. "This is my wedding. You always take her side." And just like that, Mom crumbled. She always did when Emma cried. None of us ever talked about why, about the 4 months Mom spent away in a treatment center when I was a baby, the postpartum depression that nearly destroyed her. Emma had been 5 when it happened, old enough to feel abandoned, old enough to blame the new baby me. "We'll figure something out," Mom promised, squeezing Emma's hand, and I slipped away while they were talking. In my room, I pulled out my phone and sent a message to my Aunt Jen, Mom's sister and my godmother. "Can we talk? It's about Emma's wedding." The list of Emma's demands grew longer by the day. All 13 bridesmaids had to attend every dress fitting, every cake tasting. We all had to pay $25 for food tastings. The groomsmen had to pay $150 to reserve their spots. And for me, there were special rules. Emma sent me a keto diet book with a note. "Dress only comes in sizes 0 to 10. You're 12. Fix it." I cried for hours that night. Dad found me and sat on my bed, his big hand smoothing my hair like he did when I was little. "What's wrong, Lillipad?" he asked, using my childhood nickname that I couldn't tell him. Mom and Dad were spending nearly $100,000 on Emma's dream winter wedding at a ski resort. They couldn't spare $2,000 for my bridesmaid expenses, but telling Dad might make him angry at Mom. I didn't want to cause more problems. "Just stressed about college." I lied, Dad nodded. "You'll do great. You always do." I wished I could believe him. The breaking point came during a family dinner. Emma was showing off her $10,000 wedding dress in pictures on her phone. My little sister, Katie, clapped her hands in delight. "Pretty princess," she squealed. Emma smiled at her, a real smile, not the cold one she saved for me. Then she turned to me. "The bridesmaids need to go to hair and skin appointments every 6 weeks, she announced. "Starting now. And you need to cover your tattoo." I touched the small star on my wrist, a gift to myself on my 18th birthday. "The dresses have long sleeves." I don't care. I want to be the only one with visible tattoos. Mom nodded along. Dad looked confused but said nothing. And remember, Emma continued, guests have to pay $150 to attend. Make sure you tell everyone that's non-negotiable. Wait, what? Dad's fork clattered against his plate. Guests have to pay to come to the wedding? Emma rolled her eyes. It's tradition in Nick's family. They're Italian. I couldn't take it anymore. I pushed back my chair and stood up. I need to be excused, I whispered, and fled to my room. 10 minutes later, Dad knocked on my door. Lily, can I come in? I wiped my tears and let him in. His kind eyes looked worried. What's really going on? He asked. I told him everything. The expenses, the diet book, the guest fees. When I finished, his face had turned dark with anger. Stay here, he said quietly. I need to have a talk with your mother and sister. I heard the shouting start 5 minutes later. That night, I made a decision. I couldn't be part of Emma's wedding. I couldn't be part of her life anymore. The little girl who had once tried to smother me with a pillow had grown into a woman who was trying to smother my future instead. I called Aunt Jen. I need a place to stay, I told her. Just until college starts. Pack your bags, she said without hesitation. I'm on my way. What I didn't know then was that my stand against Emma would change everything. The family's secrets were about to come tumbling out, and nothing would ever be the same again. Aunt Jen arrived in her old blue truck just as the sun was setting. I watched from my bedroom window as she parked in our driveway. She didn't come inside. Instead, she texted me, "Ready when you are." I grabbed my backpack, stuffed with clothes and important papers. My hands were shaking. I had never stood up to my family like this before. When I reached the bottom of the stairs, Mom and Dad were waiting. Emma was gone, having stormed out after Dad confronted her about the wedding demands. "Where do you think you're going?" Mom asked, her voice tight with worry. Dad put his hand on Mom's shoulder. "Let her talk, Sarah." I took a deep breath. I'm staying with Aunt Jen for a while. I can't be part of Emma's wedding. I can't afford it, and I won't go into debt for someone who treats me like dirt. Mom's face crumpled. But we're family. We have to stick together. Family doesn't make you feel worthless, I said quietly. Family doesn't send you diet books or call you fat. Family doesn't try to smother you with a pillow when you're 5 years old. Dad's eyes widened. What did you just say? I realized then that Dad didn't know about the pillow incident. Mom had always told the story as a joke, but Dad had never been there when she told it. Emma tried to smother me with a pillow when I was little, I explained. Mom caught her. Everyone laughed about it later, like it was just kids being silly. Dad's face turned pale. Sarah, is this true? Mom wouldn't meet his eyes. She was just playing. Emma was upset because I'd been away. She didn't mean it. She meant it, I said firmly. And she's been hurting me in different ways ever since. The next few days at Aunt Jen's house were peaceful. I slept better than I had in years. No one was judging me. No one was making me feel small. But on the third day, Dad called. We need to talk, he said. All of us. Can you come home tomorrow? I agreed, but only if Aunt Jen could come too. Dad said yes. When we arrived, Emma's car was in the driveway. My stomach twisted with nerves. Aunt Jen squeezed my hand. Remember, she whispered, you're not alone anymore. Inside, everyone was gathered in the living room. Emma sat on the couch, looking angry. Mom sat beside her, looking tired. Dad stood by the fireplace, his face serious. My little sister Katie was at a friend's house, away from the drama. I've learned some things in the last few days, Dad began. Things I should have known years ago. He turned to Emma. Your mother and I set up college funds for all of you kids. $25,000 each, to be given when you turn 19 and start college. I hadn't known this. Dad continued. I found out that your mother gave your fund to Emma for her wedding, and part of your brother's funds too. My jaw dropped. I looked at Mom, who was staring at the floor. Is this true? I asked. Mom nodded slowly. Emma needed help with her wedding. You have scholarship money for college. Your brothers get money from the military. I thought it would be okay. It's not okay, Dad said firmly. It's not fair, and it's not happening. Emma jumped to her feet. You can't do this to me. I've already booked everything. The ski resort, the caterers, everything. The wedding budget is now $15,000, Dad said calmly. That's your share of the college fund. Not a penny more. Emma's face turned red with rage. This is all your fault, she screamed, pointing at me. You've ruined everything. You always ruin everything. Emma, Dad warned. That's enough. But Emma wasn't finished. You think you're so perfect, don't you? Little Lily, everyone's favorite. You took Mom away from me. You took everything from me. I was a baby, I said quietly. I didn't take anything from you. You took Mom. She left because of you. Mom stood up then, tears streaming down her face.
No, Emma.
I left because I was sick. I had postpartum depression. It wasn't Lily's fault. It wasn't anyone's fault. Emma wouldn't listen. She grabbed her purse and stormed toward the door. I hate all of you. You're not invited to my wedding. Any of you. The door slammed behind her, making the pictures on the wall rattle. And the silence that followed. Dad turned to me.
Lily, I'm sorry.
I didn't know what was happening. I should have protected you better. Mom came and sat beside me on the couch. I'm sorry too. I think I've been trying to make up for leaving when you were a baby by giving Emma whatever she wanted. I was wrong. Aunt Jen spoke up. It's not too late to fix this. Not for your family, anyway. Emma will need to decide for herself if she wants to be part of the healing. Dad nodded. Starting today, things will be different. Your college fund is yours, Lily. I'll transfer it to you tomorrow. And I'll pay for your first year of college myself, so you don't have to touch that money. For the first time in forever, I felt like I mattered. Like I was truly part of my family. 3 months later, I was settled into my dorm room at college in Ottawa. My roommate Zoe was nice, and classes were challenging but interesting. Emma got married in November, a month earlier than planned. None of us were invited, but my cousin told me what happened. Emma wore her expensive dress. Her new husband Nick seemed happy. At the reception, they announced they were having a baby. I didn't feel sad about missing the wedding. I was busy building my own life, going to therapy and healing from the past. My oldest brother Jake got engaged to a wonderful woman named Maya. She asked me to be her maid of honor, and I happily agreed. It felt good to be wanted, to be valued, that I even met a boy named David who was studying to join the military like my brothers. He was kind and funny and made me feel special. One night, as we sat on the steps of my dorm building, David asked about my family. Do you think you'll ever talk to your sister again? I looked up at the stars, thinking about Emma, about the baby she was having, about the little girl she had once been, feeling abandoned and angry. I don't know, I said honestly, but I've learned something important. Family isn't just about blood. It's about how people treat you. It's about love and respect. David nodded, taking my hand in his. And sometimes, I continued, the family you choose is just as important as the family you're born into. I thought about Mom and Dad, working on their relationship in therapy, about my brothers coming home for holidays, about little Katie, who would grow up in a healthier home than I did, about Aunt Jen, who had been my lifeline when I needed one most, and I thought about Emma, carrying a new life inside her. I hoped she would do better than our parents had. I hoped she would break the cycle of hurt and favoritism. I hoped her child would never know what it felt like to be the least favorite, the one who was always wrong. Maybe someday, I said quietly. But for now, I'm focusing on the people who love me for who I am. As we sat there under the stars, I felt peaceful. The shadow my sister had cast over my life was finally lifting. I was free to become whoever I wanted to be. And that was the most beautiful gift of all.